These are the 20 worst gimmicks in wrestling history, starting with a wrestler that ripped off Spider-Man. And I'm serious, this ain't Spider-Man, this is Arachnaman, bruh. Bro even shot webs. And of course Marvel found out and threatened to sue, so Arachnaman was wiped out of existence.
See ya, chump. What the hell?
But not only wrestlers wanted to copy superheroes, they wanted to be robots too. Max Moon looks like a cheap-ass Mega Man, shooting fireworks and a jetpack that barely worked. And Conan, who had the gimmick, had such a hard time moving the gear through airports that he quit WWE because of it. But there was one wrestler who was fired from the WWE, all because he thought he was a pirate. I really think WWE was trying to sabotage Paul Burchill's career, because after giving bro a pirate gimmick, they thought the only thing that was gonna stick the landing was his crazy entrance. But the fans actually got behind the whole thing. Paul really believed he was a damn pirate so much, even William Regal had to tell him he was taking the gimmick too far.
Hello? Paul, you're not a bloody pirate.
But the lawyers came knocking again when the owners of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise forced WWE to scrap Pirate Paul from TV, and a few years later, out of the company for good. And I'm still surprised with all the crap that Natalya had to put up, because there was a time she was forced to fart on live TV.
He really stinks.
No, Eve.
That stinks.
What was that? I said we're gonna win.
It was so bad, she was given the nickname Natty Night Fart. Vince was diabolical, but Nat was a good sport about it.
I was never angry. I was like, how are we gonna embrace this? How are we gonna dive into this? How am I gonna make this great? Of course, the audience, maybe they felt a different way about it, but for me, I just wanted to grow. I wanted to be in a storyline where I could show, yeah, I could be entertaining. I wasn't just gonna be a serious wrestler.
Damn, it's almost as bad as a wrestling stable made up of a bunch of 2K creative superstars. I mean, these guys came out with Insane Clown Posse and an Eric Cartman plushie. If you have no idea what I just said, just know it was peak 90s energy. Now, the entrance was all fun and games, but these guys would get squashed in damn near every match. But at least they were somewhat over with the crowd. Unlike this other wrestler whose gimmick was canceled because it gave kids nightmares. Now, Dustin Rhodes really deserves his flowers for making Goldust work. That gimmick was wild for its time. It pushed every boundary, but he made it connect and turned him into a certified legend. But when he left WWE for WCW in 1999, people thought he could do it again with a new character called Seven, and the vignettes were creepy as hell. Face paint, lurking outside a kid's bedroom window, something that only Drake would cook up, and fans complained fast. And that's when the network forced WCW to shut it down. And all of it turned into a work shoot where Dustin dished the costume on live TV and roasted unrealistic gimmicks.
Want everybody in here to take a good long look at this crap I'm in.
Yeah, the whole thing was a disaster. But Dustin Rhodes couldn't escape this other bad gimmick when he went to TNA, and that's Black Rain. Oh my god, what is that? But I know the creative team was on something strong when they came up with this next gimmick.
The winners meet in the finals. Well, this will be the first time that we've seen Kevin. Go ahead, Rocky.
No, we don't need that.
Bro, they dog muzzled the big oos, Rikishi. But pointy toe shoes aside, at least it was kind of original. Unlike this next gimmick, introducing the Renegade.
Renegade, a shot at World Television champ Arn Anderson at the Great American Bash 2.
Wait a minute, bro, that's the alternate warrior. And even Hulk Hogan couldn't save this ultimate warrior from Temu. But this next wrestler definitely needs some saving, cause he looks like someone you've seen on the streets of LA.
I am Kizarni.
Okay. In late 2008 on SmackDown, WWE kept dropping these eerie promo packages with this clown-looking guy speaking like he actually belonged in the streets of LA.
The C is I, C is yo, he is he is here. Reazil, Fiazun.
Now, WWE didn't really do circus-type gimmicks back then, so it felt different, and the promos ran forever, like 3 months straight. And by January 2009, he finally debuts against MVP and actually wins, which was wild because MVP was that type of guy in the mid-card. But the crowd goes wild, and the next month, bro was never seen on TV again. But this next faction belongs on the hub. I mean, these guys were called the Johnsons. It's literally two wrestlers meant to be, two d***s. Dead serious. Their names? Rod and Richard. Just two big, jacked dudes wearing skin-colored full-body spandex, so they look like walking Walking Dead. I mean, I still don't get how this ever got approved. Like, who pitched this and who said, yeah, run it? I mean, talk about some stiff competition. Okay, but then there's this guy.
Gotta be cocaine! That's gotta be cocaine! He's got an 8-ball! And cocaine goes fucking crazy!
Forget AI and Bitcoin, the Kane universe is booming. But who knew doing a line in the ring would piss everyone off? Because this got the attention of former WWE stars like Dustin Rhodes, who called the gimmick stupid. And even Jonathan Coachman called it the dumbest thing in wrestling history. Now, crack is one thing, but turning a human into a farm animal is next level.
What is this? What do you call him? Mantar? Mantar, that's right.
Bro, just when you thought you seen it all. Now, Mantar would actually not wrestle in that crazy mask, but I really wish he did. Instead, he would just moo like a freaking lunatic. Oh, bro. Giant Johnsons, Kane with a substance abuse problem, a water buffalo, I get it, but what the hell is this guy supposed to be? A religious extremist who beats the living sin out of his opponents. Okay, bro's just a rip-off Undertaker, but hit with a pressure washer. But the craziest part about the whole Mordecai saga is that he was actually supposed to be the Undertaker's opponent at WrestleMania 20, not Kane. That's crazy. And by July, Mordecai was released, and ironically, will later come back as a vampire. But there's another gimmick that I can't believe WWE did, and that's when they turned my boy Chavo Guerrero white. Bro changed his name to Kerwin White, dyed his hair blonde, rolled around in a golf cart, and deadass said this.
If it's not white, it's not right.
Oh my god. And his caddy was literally a baby Dolph Ziggler. But then the gimmick got Thanos snapped after Eddie Guerrero passed away. But what an absolute fever dream. Just like Kevin Nash starting his wrestling career as Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. And it also didn't help that he came out to 90s corn music. Leave it to WCW to make one of the coolest guys uncool. And speaking of uncool, I say getting with your own mom is pretty high on the list. Beaver Cleavage has entered the chat.
This cereal sucks! Mom!
Does Mother's little hairy beaver want some of Mother's milk?
Oh my god.
So I'm acting like a 12-year-old kid. I'm putting my head in some girl's big boobs.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. We're making sexual innuendos about cucumbers and my mother having sex and milk.
Bro was Homelander before Homelander and was getting freaky with his mom, but Vince Russo, who helped write the gimmick, didn't care.
It was edgy, it was pushing the envelope, it was something that people could talk about around the water cooler. Wrestling fans are going to hate it. I know wrestling fans are going to hate it. That's not who I was writing for, bro.
The genius of late 90s Russo on full display. SMH. But what was not smart was bankrupting the whole company for a gimmick that was absolute cheeks. When Glacier debuted in WCW in 1997, it was reported that WCW spent $500,000 just on the entrance and ring gear on this fake-ass Sub-Zero. But WCW's second worst gimmick ever? Well, they couldn't figure that out either. When Hulk Hogan switched sides and went to WCW in 1994, the company needed heels for him to feud with. Enter the Dungeon of Doom.
What?
A stable made up of a cannibal, the Giant, a human shark, and this guy.
And the Yeti!
It looked more like a mummy to me, but whatever. However, after dry humping the ish out of the Hulkster, the Yeti was never seen again, or so we thought. He was advertised for WCW's next pay-per-view, but he showed up and dressed as a ninja instead. What? I'm like so confused. But one thing is for sure though, no one in WCW actually knew what a Yeti looked like. Still, it's better than this.
Oh, there it is!
What the hell is even that?
And the whole locker room couldn't believe what they were even looking at. I swear the whole era was just cooked after that. But there was one moment where everything that could have went wrong, gone wrong, and cursed the gimmick forever. WCW spent weeks cooking up a huge mystery partner angle in 1993. Vader was running wild, Sid Vicious wanted revenge, and War Games at Fall Brawl was coming up. Sting and the British Bulldog promised their partner would shock the world. And at Clash of the Champions 24, Ric Flair's flair for the gold set the stage. Pyro ready, wall standing, tension high. Then the big reveal hit, and what happened next made everyone lose their shit.
The Shock Master! All right! The Shock Master!
Everyone silent in disbelief for a second, then burst out laughing, except for Sid Vicious, who stayed in character. I mean, what a guy. Later, Dusty Rhodes explained how it all went sideways. Earlier in the day, Fred Ottman, who was the Stormtrooper reject, had actually practiced the spot and everything went smooth. But before going live, someone nailed a 2x4 to the bottom of the wall that wasn't there before. And when the moment came, the pyro popped, Fred hit the wall, clipped the board, and chaos followed. Dusty said he laughed so hard that he had to be pulled away, and even young Cody Rhodes was bursting out laughing on TV watching it. But little did baby Cody know that he was gonna have a dumbass gimmick when he grew up too. But at least he had a decent childhood, unlike these wrestlers who'd actually had rough childhoods. And you can check out that video right here.